A huge swath of the country, including our area, under a winter storm warning and winter weather advisories. I'll show you when it starts and what you'll see.
And preparing those roads, the area's DOT crews will focus on this morning ahead of the snow coming tonight.
And at least 10 dead, thousands of structures destroyed in California. This is a live look at Los Angeles, where wildfires have destroyed entire neighborhoods. The images from there just heartbreaking. It is 4:30 on this Friday, and over here in our neck of the woods, we're preparing for a winter storm. I'm Renee Chu.
I'm Jeff Hogan. Yeah, it is the WRAL Weather Alert Day once again here on this Friday, and this is the day the streak could end. Who knows? Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center right now with those weather alerts.
We have a really good chance of seeing some snow, but overnight the new models came in, and it looks like maybe less than it did yesterday. Still probably could give us maybe a half an inch to an inch at RDU. Now, what happens in our northern counties will be a much different scenario. They could end up seeing more significant snow, and then the farther south you go, there could be a good bit of rain that mixes in with this, and so the wintry precipitation there looking a little less likely. So here's a look at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Could already start to see a little bit of light patchy rain. By 6 o'clock, we're starting to see some of the snow moving in around the triangle, but we do see that lifting. So we're going to slow that down in a minute. We do see that lifting northward, that line where we start to see the sleet, the freezing rain, and the rain mixing in, moving up a little bit faster. So for the triangle area, Raleigh in particular, we may only see 2 or 3 hours of snow. Yesterday, it looked like we might see 6 hours of snow, which would be a much bigger story. However, that line is going to be dramatic. So you get, say, to our northern counties, and there could be multiple inches of snow, potentially 2, 3, 4, some pockets, maybe even heavier than that. But boy, Raleigh's going to be that line. And then what happens to the south? We could end up, unfortunately, with a more significant ice storm, which will cause some power outages. This is all out of here by around 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. So it will be in and out and mostly an overnight event for us. We'll take a look at some of those snow total maps as we check out what's happening out there for the next 24 hours as we see that potential for that freezing rain and snow and sleet. And we're also looking at temperatures that are going to be really cold for us. So we're setting the stage again this morning with those temperatures that are so cold. Temperatures back down into the 20s again for us this morning. We'll, of course, note that the Friday evening commute will deteriorate quickly, and a lot of schools are letting out early, so keep that in mind. Important things to know. Initially, what falls will stick, and you want to avoid travel after 5 o'clock, but a lot of mixed wintry precipitation here with this. We're going to see some snow, but a good bit of sleet and freezing rain, especially from the triangle area southward. However, you know, if you're in our northern counties, you're going to have a pretty good shot at getting some sledding in. So here's a look at that snow forecast. Again, we're going to be looking at that potential for some snow in the triangle, but it may not last that long. Let's take a look at some temperatures as you're headed out. It's 23 right now. The wind chill currently in the teens in a few places. And of course, our high temperatures this afternoon will definitely be chilly, only in the upper 30s. When we come back, we're going to take a little closer look at exactly what you may see in your town.
Thanks, Elizabeth. How about this winter storm system that is headed our way? This is a live look right now in the city of Bonham, Texas. This is that system coming towards us. Just over an hour outside of Houston, this is what they're seeing, although, you know, it's not here yet, but schools are already changing plans for today.
Right. Wake County schools will dismiss 3 hours early today. Durham public schools are closed today. Most other school systems in our area will be on early release schedules. You see them on this map in green. Now, for specifics about closing times, go to WRAL.com or check the information at the bottom of your screen. 3 school districts in the Sandhills, Cumberland, Hoke, and Moore counties will have classes remotely today.
And those closures and delays will impact families in our area. Some think it's nice. It's a hassle, though, for some others. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is joining us live right now from Dillard Drive Elementary School in Cary. And Kelsey, school leaders there use a long process to decide whether to close or dismiss early.
Yes, Jeff, so much goes on or goes into making these decisions. So Dillard Drive Elementary is just one Wake County school that will be closing early. Wake County parents will have to pick up their students 3 hours early today. With the potential for slick road conditions, school districts across the region are dismissing early. Chapel Hill Carrboro City Schools announced they are closing 2 hours early, and Durham Public Schools will be closed all day. These decisions come with mixed reviews from parents. parents. We spoke with some parents who agree with changing school schedules. Others say early dismissal is a hassle. One Wake County parent posting on Facebook expressing concerns as a working parent about factoring in time for pickup and drop off. Chapel Hill Carborough City Schools says their decision to close early comes down to safety first.
Is safety of our students, safety of our staff, safety of our families coming to and from school. If school can be held safely, we'll have school. But if there's something out there that may pose a risk to safety, then we'll adjust accordingly.
For a full list of school schedules across the region, just go to our website, WRAL.com. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Cary.
DOT crews have been hard at work across the Triangle, preparing the roads for snow and ice. WRAL's Eric Miller joins us live from the NCDOT maintenance yard in Raleigh. Eric, they have hundreds of snow plows ready to go. They haven't used those in a while.
Renee, they've not. They're going to be dusting them off here for the first time in a long time. They're also going to be dusting this off right here. You see that salt barn behind me? Literally tons of salt ready to go out there on the roads, try to keep drivers safe. The NCDOT, they're facing a couple of challenges with this storm. One, you step outside this morning, you're going to notice it immediately. It's just how cold the ground is. Things are really frozen solid. That's going to go a long way towards letting a lot of this precipitation stick to the roads. Then there's also the timing of this storm with the mix of rain, wintry mix, snow all coming in. If rain hits first in some areas, it can actually wash brine off of the roads, essentially setting these crews back to square one and allowing for a lot more sticking on the roadways, leading to more dangerous conditions. That's just one of many reasons officials are encouraging people, if you can, stay home with this storm. Take a listen. Well, it seems like we might be having some technical difficulties with that sound there. Regardless, hearing it from NCDOT, from State Highway Patrol, all of these officials saying if you can avoid being off the road during and after this storm, that's going to both help keep you safe and keep first responders safe. For NCDOT, they have been out on the road for days now. We know as of yesterday morning, they had already laid down more than 633,000 gallons of brine out there on a lot of those primary and secondary roads, something you'll absolutely be seeing as you head out the door this morning. In Raleigh, Eric Miller, WRAL News.
Say the state roads, but the city crews will be out as well on roads this morning in Durham, and they will pre-treat roads ahead of the winter weather this afternoon. You may see them spraying some of that brine from their trucks.
Right now, wildfires are still burning out of control in Southern California. This is a live look there right now. New this morning, we've learned at least 10 people have died as a result of the fires. Officials warn the actual death toll will be unknown until investigators are able to access neighborhoods. More than 180,000 people have been forced from their homes. Thousands of structures have been destroyed. Governor Gavin Newsom has deployed 400 National Guard troops to help support first responders. And some of the first responders are finding their own neighborhoods destroyed.
It's devastating. All my neighbors up across the top, their houses are gone.
More than 800 firefighters with the help of fixed-wing aircraft and helicopters are battling the blaze.
Happening today, the teen accused in the Raleigh mass shooting of 2022 is due to appear in court. Austin Thompson is scheduled for an arraignment in a Wake County courtroom today. He's charged with killing 5 people in the 2022 Hedingham shooting in that neighborhood. He has a tentative trial date in September. His attorneys want it delayed to next year, 2026. WRAL's Chelsea Donovan will be at today's hearing, and we'll have updates on what develops later in our newscasts.
Snow in Arkansas. We'll show you what the weather system heading our way brought to people there.
And it's a live look right now. We'll take you to Clinton. Good morning to you. Starting off cold everywhere and keeping an eye on the snow coming in tonight. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner will talk about the timing of that when we return.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
4:43. Of course, we have a winter storm warning for most of the viewing area, our southern counties, eastern counties, and that winter weather advisory. We're going to see a lot of different kinds of precipitation. The same story holds. Most of the snow is going to be in the north and the wintry mix in the south, but that line has shifted a little bit northward overnight. So that just means that Raleigh and parts of the Triangle may see a little more wintry mix and less snow. Here's what to expect. That wintry mix develops late this afternoon into the evening. Roads will become slick in the evening, overnight, and into early tomorrow. We have the threat of icing, which could cause some power outages. And coming up, we're going to walk through the amounts of snow that we'll see, how much sleet, how much ice. We'll get into all the details. It's a cold start this morning, 23 in Durham, Raleigh, and Fayetteville. Clouds will increase this afternoon.
Snow's been falling in Arkansas as the storm makes its way toward us. Snow and slush covered these roads in Little Rock, Arkansas. Most of that state is blanketed with snow. Some of the mountainous parts of the state got 8 inches or more.
Doctors in Alabama are warning about hypothermia after 3 people died from the cold temperatures within the past day. The University of Alabama at Birmingham's hospital is prepared for an influx of hypothermia patients. Symptoms include body temps dropping below 95 degrees, shivering, and impaired function. Doctors warn people to put blankets in their car along with an extra pair of socks and shoes. This before the expected blast of snow and freezing rain expected to hit the southern U.S. this evening. We're getting a better look at the destruction caused by the Palisades wildfire in Los Angeles. Aerial photos show before and after views of neighborhoods and businesses there devastated by the flames. Thousands of structures have burned. The Palisades fire, already the city's most damaging wildfire ever, is said to also be one of the most destructive natural disasters in the city's history. This is according to the LA Fire Department.
This security camera in Los Angeles County, California, captured these flames on a patio deck. The Ring camera shows the backyard of a home, right there by the Palisades fire there. And the fire has hit several cities. It's burned more than 17,000 acres and thousands of buildings. California wildfires are expected to take a toll on the nation's already strained insurance market as well. One estimate says the insured losses are already at least $20 billion. And that is after many of California's top home insurers either paused or limited or ended policies over the last 2 years. State Farm announced in March they would not renew 30,000 home policies in that state, ending more than half of its policies in the now devastated Pacific Palisades. More and more Californians have turned to the state-created insurance plan, the California Fair Plan, it's called. It offers basic coverage when people can't get insured through private companies. Enrollment in that policy more than doubled in the past 4 years.
Former President Jimmy Carter has been laid to rest. He was buried on his home property in Plains, Georgia, after a private funeral service last night. He was buried alongside his wife of 77 years, Rosalind. The private service followed his state funeral early yesterday at the National Cathedral in Washington.
North Texas has already been hit with a significant amount of snow as well. That snow fell in the Dallas-Fort Worth area for a large part of the day Thursday. Some communities got as much as 7 inches of snow. The Dallas-Fort Worth urban area got between 2 and 5 inches, and that snow is expected to end there early this morning.
Today's college football playoff game in suburban Dallas is scheduled to kick off as planned despite the snow in that area. Crews were out at AT&T Stadium yesterday getting ready for the Cotton Bowl. Some fans of the Ohio State Buckeyes and Texas Longhorns were also out early braving the weather. The game will kick off at 7:30 tonight. The winner will play Notre Dame in the championship game on January 20th.
And here in the WRAL Live Center, take a look at Oklahoma and all the snow that they have seen so far. Let me play this video for you again so you can see this. Take a look at all this snow on the roads there. The storm brought heavy snowfall totals across the state. Some areas have seen up to 8 inches of snow. The winter weather is expected to remain in effect. That advisory there throughout the day. They say slick roads have caused several accidents. So definitely just something to keep in mind when weather like this happens. Just take your time on the roads or just don't even go out at all.
448 we're coming up on right now, and as we translate that, all those pictures that we're seeing across the country into our area, Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center, not exactly what we're going to see with all that snow and accumulation in other places.
You know, this is a situation like we see so many times here in our part of North Carolina, where part of the viewing area gets dumped on with snow and part of the viewing area sees only rain. And so it's always about where is that transition line. So the best thing to know is, you know, that transition line is going to be somewhere in the middle of our viewing area, and it is a sharp transition between you're seeing a lot of snow and you're really not seeing a lot of snow at all. And figuring out exactly mile by mile where that's going to be is pretty tricky. But this is a look at our winter storm warning, and that does include Hoke County all the way up into the northeast, and then Goldsboro down towards Clinton and Fayetteville. That's where we have the winter weather advisory, where impacts are likely to be a little bit less. Let's take a look at Futurecast. And at 2 o'clock, we're cloudy but fairly dry. By 6 o'clock, potentially a few sprinkles, maybe a little light rain, maybe starting to see that in the western part of the viewing area where it starts to move in as snow. And then we may end up, the big question is, you know, where does this line end up? At 8 o'clock, we may see a brief period of snow in Fayetteville and Clinton, as well as Raleigh and Durham. And then we see that snow potentially continuing on up until around, say, 10 or 11 o'clock right here around the triangle. And then up to the north is where we may see this lasting as snow for the entire period. And that's where we're going to see some significant amounts of snow. This is going to move on out pretty quickly, right around sunrise, around 6 or 7 o'clock. We're going to be finished with this. This is a look at our revised snow forecast. We changed this a little bit from yesterday, kind of bumped up that, you know, less than an inch. It looks like, you know, from Raleigh southward, we could see an inch or less. And then the northern part of Wake County and then north, that's where we're going to start to see a little bit more snow. So that line may be right through the middle of Wake County. Here's what we're concerned about: the amount of ice that we could see. If we end up with 1/4 of an inch of ice accumulation, then that is going to cause some power outages. And the swath of that is likely to be between Raleigh and Fayetteville. So this region here is where we'll have a better chance of some accumulating ice. This version, the American model, has really going gangbusters with that ice. We're hoping that that's not going to happen. Right now, our forecast is going to be for some areas with 1/4 of an inch. 1/10 of an inch means that you're going to see it on windshields and bridges. It may be slick. By the time we get to 1/4 of an inch, we start to see tree limbs breaking and power outages. As it gets higher than that, we end up with a major ice storm. So we definitely don't want to get it to an inch. I mean, 1/2 an inch, I don't think that we will. Of course, you know, we're talking about snow and a winter storm. You know, the expectation is a beautiful winter wonderland. A lot of us, especially from Raleigh southward, are just going to see a wintry mess. Some snow, but some sleet, some freezing rain, some rain. It's going to be messy. Here is my pro tip for you. If it starts to snow, go outside and enjoy it, because the later you wait in the evening, the messier it'll get from the triangle area southward. And if you wait till Saturday, it's probably just going to be slushy and kind of gross out there. 23 is our temperature this morning. Around town this afternoon, 37 Raleigh, Durham, and Fayetteville. And of course, we're looking at the precipitation beginning later on this evening. Saturday, 43. So whatever does stick and cause problems on the roads, some of that will melt on Saturday. But we're going to see a temperature Sunday morning of 22. So we could have a little bit of refreezing. Hey, the warmest day of the week comes on Monday. Ooh, almost 50. Look at this. We continue with our cold snap well into next week.
Elizabeth, thanks. A place of worship spared in the California wildfires.
For the entire community, not just the Jewish community.
The emotional visit to the synagogue that now stands as a sign of hope for many who've lost everything.
And snow in western North Carolina, how crews are preparing for winter weather in places still recovering from Hurricane Helene.